Hi students, from now onwards we'll start the next chapter, that is macroprocessors. Already we have defined this macroprocessor in the introduction chapter. So now in this chapter we are going to study in detail about these macroprocessors. So let us first understand what is the necessity of developing this system component, that is a macroprocessor. As the complexity of the programs increased, there will be certain sets of continuous code which are repeated in many in big programs. So this set of codes which are getting repeated may be many times where the programmer will be using these codes. So now the system programmers has given a facility for the programmer to abbreviate this set of continuous code. So what is this here? Continuous code means the continuous instructions, set of instructions which he is using repeatedly in his program. So the system programmers have now given one facility called as the macro facility. So what is this macro facility given to the programmer? So under this macro facility, the programmer will be able to give a single line abbreviation for the continuous set of code which is getting repeated, and he will define this continuous code under one name, and whenever this continuous code is repeated, instead of using the code, he will write only the name of this continuous code. So this name we call it a single line abbreviation for this continuous code, and this we call it as the macro instruction definition. So now he will be using the name of the macro, but this name will not be understood by your assembler to convert that into machine code. So before giving the program for assembly process, there must be one more program which converts these macro names into the set of continuous code. That is, you require a program which converts this single line abbreviation into a continuous code. That program we call it as macroprocessor. So now the assembler with macroprocessor converts the single line abbreviations into an expanded code before the program is given to the assembler. So that is why the macroprocessor must always be used before the assembly process. So now let us understand in detail about what are the basic definitions in macroprocessor. So now in this macro facility which is provided, we understand three terms. The first one we call it as macro definition. Then second one we call it as macro name, and third one we call it as macro expansion. So let us understand these three one by one by considering an example. So first let me take the example, then we will define it exactly these three. So let us take, I have given this in the notes. So this is a small example which I have given. So this is the small example. Here it is a very simple example. So for explanation we will take only the simple one. So here if you observe, there are three instructions: A1 comma data, A2 comma data, A3 comma data. So this set of three instructions is repeated somewhere else in the same program. Here we have shown only 2 times, but in the actual program you will be getting many times the code will be repeated. So last one we are defining what is this data. Data, that is, it is a constant which is 5 as a full word. So now let us write the same program by using this macro facility. So now what is that here? Which are the instructions that are getting repeated? These are the three instructions. So as a programmer, I have to define these three instructions. So giving the name for the particular set of continuous code, we call this as a macro definition. So who is going to do this? The programmer. So what is macro definition? It is giving a single line abbreviation for the particular set of the code, and this should be identified with a name. So what is the format of defining any macro? So the format of defining a macro, there is a particular format. So this format uses two pseudo-ops. One is macro is a pseudo-op. You know what is a pseudo-op? It is the opcode which defines the function of the assembler, not a machine. So macro is one pseudo-op. Then the next one will be the name of the macro. Following the macro pseudo-op will be the name. Then after the name, this name can be anything given by the programmer. Then all the lines which are to be abbreviated, and at the end of the last code we have to write another pseudo-op, that is mend. So this macro and mend are the two pseudo-ops which are used to define a macro. So now let us define what is macro pseudo-op. All these definitions are important. So macro is a pseudo-op which is the first line of any macro definition and identifies the next following line as the name of the macro. Then what is mend pseudo-op? It is the pseudo-op which indicates the termination of the macro definition or the end of the macro definition. So this is the format to define a macro. So by using this format, so now the same example which we consider. So these are the three instructions which are to be abbreviated. So first, so the source code. First I will write before starting off the program. First I am going to define all the macros. So now I have defined the starting is the macro pseudo-op. So following is the name. So I have given the name INCR is the name of this macro. So first is the macro pseudo-op which indicates that the next line following it is the name of the macro. So now after naming, now I will write all the three instructions which are to be abbreviated. Then that is the end. So I will end with another pseudo-op mend. So this one, starting off your program, the programmer will do this macro definition. So after this, now in the program somewhere else you have to write these three. So now the programmer will not write these three instructions. Instead of this, already he has defined these three by using the name INCR. So wherever these three instructions are to be used, he will write only the name of the macro. So just INCR. So again here, again one more time it is repeated. So at the later stages, now again instead of these three, the programmer will write INCR. So INCR, what is this? This is the name of the macro. So but here you are using in the place of opcode. So using the name of the macro as an operation mnemonic instead of the set of the code is called as macro call. So what is macro call? Using the name of the macro as an operation mnemonic which is to be expanded or extended is called as macro call. Okay, this is the program the programmer will write. But I can't give the entire program to the assembler because it doesn't understand what is INCR and all, because they are present in the opcode place. So now before giving to the assembler, you have to expand this. That means wherever the macro names are there, that is macro calls are there, this call must be substituted with this definition. So here I have written, this is the input for the macro processor, and what you will get the output, macro processor will not change anything. It has to just convert or substitute the macro calls with the definitions. So here, now observe here, in the extended code, that is the output of the macro processor, you don't have the macro definition and you don't have the pseudo op macro or mend or the name. Only the body of the macro, that is the set of the code, is substituted wherever there is a macro call. So INCR is replaced with the 3. Now somewhere else here I have got INCR, again these are replaced with the 3. So this source code we write as the input to the macro processor, and extended code is the output of the macro processor. Again please observe, in the output of the macro processor, the macro definition does not appear. The macro processor stores it. It will not give it as an output. And again during macro expansion, the two pseudo ops macro and mend will not be present, and name also will not be present. So this is the explanation for the 3 basic things which you use with the macro facility. So macro definition, macro call and macro expansion. So this entire thing they may ask for 2-3 times, they have asked for as a 15 marks question. Thank you.